Welcome to IJustWatched. I'm Joseph. We're about to discuss Scott Pilgrim takes off the Netflix original, this reimagining of the greatness that is Scott Pilgrim versus the World. I absolutely do enjoy the live action movie, but not to get into that. When this was first announced, I thought it was a sequel to that, and then I found out via trailer and you lovely folks that it's actually a reimagining or a retelling, or in all simplicity, an alternate version, an alternate universe of the original movie, being written by the same writer, the original writer, which I thought was cool. I was like, I like that idea. Maybe over the years, a whole new concept, and you want to kind of play with, like, maybe not necessarily the multiverse, but just like an alternate Earth, alternate timeline, just kind of play with it, give it some fun, little alternatives, maybe fix a couple things, whatever. I was a game for it. I like the animation style. It's not my favorite, but I was like, you know what, it looks cool. It reminds me of the books. I'm game. Let's check this out. Spoiler warning, just in case you haven't seen the series yet. I think it's 8 episodes if I remember correctly. So it's quick. It's easy to burn through. However, I say that because it should be easy to burn through. And one thing that I absolutely enjoyed from the original that made me love it so much was the music, the depth of the music, the way it mixed with the story and how it expanded things. This series didn't have that for me. Although I expected things to be different, obviously, it's a reimagining, a retelling, an alternate version. Yes, I knew things would be different, so I wasn't against that. But I was hoping we'd still get that immersive, that feel of the music. You know, I was bumping it and it didn't even feel like there was anything coming through. It was just, it felt kind of bland, like the music was an afterthought. Like I said, I knew it was going to be different. But this is definitely not a Scott Pilgrim takes off. This is Ramona Flowers squashes beef with the evil exes. He's gone in like the first, 15 minutes of the first episode. Shows up second to last. And the whole time we're following Ramona on this adventure trying to figure out what happened to him, which was cool if it would have been shorter and we got back to the building of Scott Pilgrim and her character. The one thing I liked was the joke they played that young Neil wrote, it really was old Ramona, but wrote the original script or the story that is the movie that we know and love. So I thought that was like a neat meta joke, but overall this show missed for me. It didn't hit like I had hoped. I love that everyone came back to voice their characters. In the beginning and throughout most of it, it didn't really sound like Cera when it came to Scott. I know it was him, obviously, but it just didn't sound like him. I don't know if his voice changed or maybe he was trying something different. And he, like I said, he's not even in this show, but out of the 8 episodes, he's in it 2.25, roughly. So I was like, all right, that sucks. The fights were pretty much gone or obsolete. It was just more of an emotional dive into her squashing the beef with her exes, helping them move on and resolve situations. They tried to play off the jokes that made the movie great, which I understand, but I felt like there was no attempt to really just use those as an advantage to do something better or newer. It was just like, they loved it in the movie, let's do it again, but more. Although, yes, I thought some of it should have been in it, but it was just the fact that they kept doing it consistently that I was like, all right, you guys didn't really think or try to either grow from it, adapt it. It was just like, we know you loved it, so we're just going to do it a bunch. That being said, sadly, this show didn't hit for me. I definitely don't care to watch it again. They definitely set it up for a sequel or a second season, but honestly don't care for it. It was boring. It was kind of hard to watch. I had to sit there and really make myself burn through this. And like I said, it's 8 episodes, like 20 minutes of pop or something like that. I want to hear your thoughts. I heard people loved it, and you know, from what I've read online and stuff, I know a lot of people are going to disagree with me, which is fine. It just wasn't for me. It's not something I'd watch again. It's not something I'd really recommend people to watch, honestly. Usually that's my thing. Like, am I going to rewatch it? Rewatchability is a big factor for me. No, I'm not really vibing. I kind of forgot a lot about it. I'm going to rewatch the live action one though, for sure. It's funny because it's just one of those meh shows, because sometimes something is so bad I want someone to watch it so we can discuss, and I want to see if they agree or disagree with me on how bad it was. But like I said, I want to hear your thoughts. Did you love it? If you did, why? Let me know down below. I mean, the anime fight scene at the end, Scott versus old Scott, or really it was like everyone versus old Scott, visually neat, but I didn't care for the characters anymore. I didn't care for the story that they were trying to tell at this point. So it didn't matter. It didn't do anything for me. Like, it looked cool, but by this point in time, I was so, yeah, maybe you can convince me to rewatch it. Maybe there's something I missed that really just pieced it together. But I love hearing from y'all. But until next time, stay safe, be well, y con mucho amor. Adios.